Hey folks, this is Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming for Season 43, 5 versus 5 Grand Arena Championship, end of Week 2. We're now going into Week 3. I have here with me, my two co-hosts. We have Dagger and TJ. Good evening, guys. Thanks for being here for recording. How you guys doing? In no particular order.
Hey guys, this is TJ. Just the other guy with Tassinix. I wanted to copy his intro of "Hey guys," so I'm doing good, man. 2-1. I'm not gonna complain. Not gonna brag. Still top 100. So stuff still suckish.
Okay. What's good, Dagger?
Hi guys, it's Dagger. Just
God.
following the same template as the other two gents. I finally clawed my way back out of the dregs that is the middle of Kyber 1, and I'm back in the top 50. So hopefully this week will be fun.
Very good. Well, thank you for teeing me up in that way, guys. Yes, we've had an incredible run. We went 1-2 week 1. We swept week 2, 3-0. I am currently rank 4. It's going to be absolute captain and say no next week. The goal, of course, for the top bracket is to go 1-2. It'd be nice to go 2-1. That would be the highest aspiration, but 1-2 is the minimum that we're gonna be satisfied with. But it's been wild. We had excellent opposition last week, and we still pulled it out. Over the moon
If it
about
makes you
that.
feel better, you're 9 through 16 in our hearts.
All right, that's fair. I can deal with that. All right, let's get right into it. So, yeah, due to technical difficulties, there was no plotting and scheming video for week 1. I didn't have reliable internet at the time, so sorry about that, folks. I will say that here at the end of week 2, there's definitely some lessons that are going to show up on GG, so I don't think it's going to be obscene to discuss them. But as far as, what worked and what didn't, so I'm going to start with what worked. And for me, Java solutions are super key. So JMK is a pretty common way to go about it. If you do the standard JMK, with Kat, Ahsoka, Padme, GK, you're at risk to potentially, Jabba's going to get one cast of ultimate off. And if you choose his Cat, it's all but guaranteed that you're going to have a 2-shot. You can mitigate that by maybe throwing in Bad Batch Echo, but even then it's not guaranteed. There's emergent are other solutions for Jabba, so this is a really key issue is dealing with Jabba. Mother Talzin is pretty risky. You have to be able to stack up Plague, and you have to stack up Asajj. Very best done when she and Marin both have their Omicrons. It's pretty much not worth trying without both. But for me, I found amazing usage in Afra and Reva for dealing with Jabba. I only did Reva once, but it was a complete blowout. I thought that I gave up less by trying to do Afra, and I'm delighted to tell you that 3 rounds I've been able to get it to work. And I'll show you guys here on stream. Let me pull them up for you. So, my Afron guys are absolutely no slouch. We'll absolutely cop to that up front. So, Relic 9, she's huge, but the mods are really the key to the recipe. The extra relics are, optional. But it's super high potency, decent speed, protection circle. I went with offense on on triangle. Some people go protection. You have a potency cross. But yeah, you're trying to get your potency as high up as you can. That's her. You need the lead. I strongly recommend the unique. You do not need the special, but the special certainly helps in 5s here. And then as far as the droids go, these guys are pretty high investment for me as well. But I'm going to show you the whole thing because that way nobody has any questions about it, how exactly I had this working, because I'm not trying to say it's a low spec thing. So the decent speed, blah 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 blah, but just huge damage, right? You don't need to maybe be 12.5, but like not less than 11.5, I would say, something like that. And then BT1, or sorry, 000 rather. Yeah. So like this fast. I went with offense because this guy needs to slap. He's not C3PO. This guy actually hurts. So like that, and then the Datacron that I used had really high crit damage. Which one is it? I want to say it's one of the Savage ones. Nope. That's the one I use with Treya. Okay. So it's like a bit of health steal, crit damage, almost 10% offense, more crit damage, 43% crit damage, 17% offense. So like more than 50% crit damage and something like 30% offense and a smidge of health steal. I run it. This is actually pretty convenient. You do have the bulk level 3, but the ability block level 6 actually comes in handy because I use B2 and Darth Vader as the last character to pull this off. So I will say, all that combined makes it feel pretty okay. Like, you get beat up a bit. I've had a couple of those fights be around like 62, 63. Today, my most recent fight was a 60. But it didn't feel much more dangerous than that. Like, if you've got the potency to make sure that when you open up with that doubt, if you can land that down on everybody, you have such a strong degree of control over that fight. So I'm very excited that worked. Like, that is just going to be... everybody wondered how strong Afra was going to be after her Kron expired. And, we've got the goods here, at least for now. Thanks for allowing me to monopolize that, guys. I could go on about a couple other things, but really, Dagger, go ahead. What else you got? What worked, or sorry, not what else, but starting. Please start with what you've got.
Tuskens continue to be stupid good. Don't play small defense. Same for offense.
Agreed.
They'll kill half the teams your opponent sets. It's just a Swiss Army knife. Night Sister's also a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, like, if you set them on defense, you need to do it as a surprise to somebody, because, like, if you have a history of it, like, the A1 solution in my book, for guys, is gas. Gas is just absolutely foolproof. It's one of the rare fights where you can get, like, 63, 64. Like, it's rare for gas to get decent banners on offense. So, yeah, but, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ranging from the CLSs to the Zoris to the GGs, right? Like,
yeah.
Those two teams are just going to kill. They're just going to execute a B team for you off the bat.
Tuskens are great. They stomped a few Heras for me. A few people had some high spec Hera teams just trivialized. Yeah,
don't. Unless you fight me, don't set Hera on defense. Another couple things that worked okay. The Reva team, like you mentioned, it works okay. It's not for the. It can frequently not be for the faint of heart. I did it twice. Both times I had someone in the red. Basically, it can get a little dicey with.
Got too much health on your stuff, man. Too much health. Not enough proc.
There's no health. There's no health on the purple set, my dude, and they all have proc circles. So I'm trying to hear it, except for Reva. So I'm trying to hear that. What I'm saying is they stick the buff immunity on somebody. And when Jabba ignores taunt and calls the mass assist on somebody, you could just get somebody executed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But real quick, one more thing that kind of stood out is the power of Bad Batch. Like, they don't kill what they used to as consistently, but I'm using them as a placeholder for some of the other teams too that do health percent. But yeah. They're going to take care of a lot of those teams that every opponent you're going to fight is going to place one or two of those teams where it's literally only on the board because it has a bulk cron. And Bad Batch is going to be good against that Tarful, that Saw, that Sana. If you don't do the thing where you pull a Bad Batch Echo. Otherwise, again, just going back to Gidme being really, really silly right now because of all the bulk. So yeah, just pay attention to some of those teams. You can get a little bit. You can extract a little bit of extra value out of those teams because they do all the health percent damage.
Yep.
And I'll let DJ go. I don't want to take up as much time as Taff did.
No, go ahead. All right, TJ, floor's yours. What worked?
We'll go top to bottom. So making gas go against the full Monty Malgus was a very nice setup for that. And we're talking. The only thing he didn't have on the team was Marauder. And in my opinion, if you're placing a Malgus team, you have a Marauder there. If you don't, you're making a mistake. So it had Sass on there, and I still just pooped all over that team like it was nothing. It went through very cleanly. It was a good cron to back up the team, so don't let me sell you that it wasn't what it was supposed to be.
What's the recipe with that cron? What's the recipe?
I went with the higher defense. Protection obviously be nice, but I took my best defense to make sure that everybody was still standing. And I left the fight with all 5 still.
So how much of each, defense and prot?
It was no prot, no added prot, 200% defense. So it was a solid. Everybody's gonna have that in there, and that's what I was like. All right, I'll take one of the better ones because those are gonna be a more key fight for me.
Yeah. And so you're gonna take it on the chin from Malgus up front with the true damage, but otherwise you're mitigating.
I got lucky. I got lucky on that. I got dodged. So my gas dodged. Yeah, it was.
Boy, I'm glad we covered that. That's an interesting caveat.
Really quick, both of them.
Yes, there was 2. There was 2 massive swing that dodged. Yes. But I ate it because my AC unit went out that too. So it's like I ate it in real life. Let's not. But regardless, he would have ate the shot and still been okay. The team, when he went down, was able to survive everything. We didn't get to a point where I felt, oh no, I'm going to lose 5. It felt good. So the high defense on the gas felt great against the Malgus, and it felt safe. So that would be my top down as a starter.
Dig that.
Don't set JML on defense. I don't understand this concept that people want to set this. It's doing okay stuff on offense. It can kill things. It's fun. I had a set 9.
I agree.
Fully loaded, 90% protection, side, secondary. My Reva made poopies out of it.
I bet.
We're not talking. Then I faced another one, and I decided, all right. Again, great cron, great setup. There was the whole thing on there. I took old school Dash, Quill, IG, Hondo, Vandor, with an okay stat, better result. And I still, because I was running through the fight, I didn't have a lot of time. Got it down to just Bastila, and this was again the full Monty team with upgraded turn meter, everything set up, and I played it incorrectly. I would call myself out as saying I didn't put it on auto soon enough, so I had just a sliver of health left on Bass. I call that a win because that tells me I know I could have gone maybe 15 seconds sooner, and I had it.
Yeah.
So it's like just don't do it. Daggers called them out. There's been seasons where he said it. And I'm telling you right now, you can find some kind of use out of these Jedi. Don't put JML in defense. It's stupid. If you're gonna put...
No, sorry. Go ahead. You finish.
No,
I have an addendum to add to it when you're done too.
All right. So we'll go to the next one. Night Sisters are a great split.
Really quick. The GG. I watched the GG beat a full R9 JML team that was JML, JGL, Cal, JKR, and Hoda. And GG just dog walked it. So just don't.
And I'll say this as well. Just today, I used the JKL lead, JKL, blah 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 against Malgus, and so I had JML with kind of like scrappish Jedi left. I literally just JML Hoda'd a Qui-Gon team for 68, like straight up, like didn't even have to negotiate that, and I got to use Bad Batch elsewhere. So there with you, TJ. Right there with you.
It's just the Jedi are split off into such great setups right now. There's so many places to maneuver the teams that saying let's put a heavy defense there is a waste of your time. And if they're keeping Reva, it's an auto and under 60 seconds that you lose your JML. We're not talking about the other kid. We're talking about your main moneymaker. And under 60 seconds, your fight's already done.
Yeah.
It's a waste. Night Sisters are... F-bomb amazing. They can be split so many ways, and if you've got the cron to do the stuff, Dagger said it before. Tash, you've done it. I've heard Brock talk about it. Everybody said the same thing, that you can still take 4 of the 5 Night Sisters and do something with a team and not even have Daka and Zombie on there. And they still kill a high-quality B team. Yes. So I had Daka and Zombie off with armor on SOK with the Zombie Cron, so removing Turn Meter.
Yep.
Phenomenal against Lord Vader. Just delightful. And then I still had Mother Talzin, Marin, AV with the Marin Cron with the Plague. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's deleting stuff. It's phenomenal. It's fun, and you can Swiss Army knife your Night Sisters right now. They will. If your opponent doesn't expect it, it's a great like back wall tricky one, but that's not something they're going to catch everybody with, and they're still going to come with some kind of solution. But they're so useful. They are Swiss Army knife of things that they can do in so many ways. Final one, Phoenix. We tested it out. I have been punching up with them right now. I am digging my Phoenix Rex. If you let my Phoenix go, they don't go. That's
That's been my experience too.
That's what, and I did that. And I'll say Tass and Dagger are both saying it. And I did try this. I was reluctant. I removed my Kanan. I put in my Sabine as the 5th character. It felt not as nice because when I did get hit, I didn't do the retribution. I like having the retribution and fighting into it, but the Sabine control in the team is just chef kiss to keep the fight. When they stop and you're putting in the armor shreds and you're putting on the good things and you're stopping them with the stagger, it's just a lot of fun. The team is a lot of fun to use.
It is.
Don't put them on defense. Please don't put them on defense. Try and punch up on offense. Give them some a crappy set 9 with just some stuff.
I have something
and watch what they do.
I have something I'm excited to share with you guys. So this kind of fits into going into our next section with what didn't work, but for
your
what
internet last week.
Yeah, no kidding. But for what did work, let me say what failed. So we talked about this in the planning stage for this last round about using Sith Eternal plus whatever Sith against a Reva team on defense, and that did not work. That did not work at all. They got absolutely destroyed. I could have used C to trivialize something else. Absolutely got just blown out. Was like they took so many turns. We were not anywhere near close to getting ultimate. Just complete destruction. All right. That being said, I backed out. We didn't preload. Went back in with my Hera team and so it was Hera, Captain Rex, Chopper. I took Kanan and Sabine. I didn't think I needed Zeb for it. And I will tell you, off rip, Grand Inquisitor used 3rd and one-shot Sabine, okay? That was the last turn their team took. End of story. With Sabine dead off rip, we just absolutely dump trucked the rest of the entire Reva team. And we had to saw through Reva 3 times. Direct. We couldn't get around it. Absolutely inescapable. All right. So we just had to do it, and I just put it on auto, like somewhere on the last life of Reva. I was like, there's no point in this. So I literally put it on auto and then guided it to GI, then to 7th, and then let it finish out. But literally just let that thing rip. That is the degree of the power of that team. Like Reva is crazy to set on defense right now with something like Hera being that effective. Like you see your opponent got like a decent Hera team, don't even think about it. Like the value's crazy. They get to do something else with their Treya. Just crazy. All right. Any last thoughts here on what worked before I really move us over?
Oh, yeah. One last thing. What worked? Stop placing Reva on defense.
Okay. Yes.
Just don't do it.
Yes. All right.
What Tass is saying. Like, there's too many things that kill it.
Yes. All right. So, what didn't work? All right. I got a couple confessions to make here. So, yeah, the C thing absolutely did not work out for me. Let me check the sheet because there's some bright red stuff on here. I will say if you're using that JKL solution to Malgus, you got to be quick about it because they're still pretty thick. And let's say you get rid of a couple, 3 of them, You're going to still be sweating on the time if they set like a decent comp with a Bulkron. I will tell you that.
Specifically Marauder. Marauder's not there. It's like you finish with a minute and a half left.
Yeah, Marauder was definitely there. So anyways, against a trench team, it didn't have a Watt, an opponent's set. So I went in with, I wanted to save my CLS for a different team, a higher calling. So I went in with Bad Batch because it has a favorable win rate. Man, that was tough. We only killed 2 characters. Like, they ended up just circling us. And, I'm talking like we had tenacity up and stuff. Didn't stop them from just, like, rolling in the turn meter. It was pretty crazy. So I only killed 2 characters. I had to clean that up with another 2 teams. That was actually the worst fight of the whole week was against that one trench. I already said about the C. JML against JMK. I was reminded to call JKL when you're spamming the coin because at least he's doing appreciable damage. I spent so much time trying to use Hoda to work through what's her name? Kat. It just took too damn long. So that was something that should have worked because I have like 70% protection on my JML crown, 150% defense. Like I was set up for success and I just dropped the ball. Let's see here. What else didn't work? I tried a Rogue One against GI and it did not work. But I think that's because of user error. Like I think I used Radis's middle too soon and forced, I actually cleansed somebody, so he death marked himself and then bad times. Okay. I think that's about it for fails. I actually had a pretty solid week attack-wise, so not too many really bad fights. Yeah. All right. TJ, let's go back to you. What didn't work?
All right, so I was fighting our alliance mate, so I fought Charles, and not given the time because it just real life was crazy this week. Took Inquisitors against JMK and got the other side of that fight.
Real?
Very badly. Oh, yeah.
What went wrong? What were the particulars?
It's just I couldn't push through the team well enough, and then they were able to recover. And because he had such a good cron on it, yeah, it's exactly what it was. They were able to recover. I couldn't get to where I needed to because at that point, GK needs to be dead for you to push into the team.
So you did recover. Like Ufu 100% damage level 6, and you had like strong crit damage on that cron.
Oh yeah, man, 90% crit damage, super good Hellsteel protection. It's the one I built for like Ray. Okay. But if I'm using it on Ray, it's going on them, and it has never failed me. But his cron was just too good. And superior modding helps out, and he set the thick team.
If they have Bulkron, you use Bulkron. That's how you win. I had that same problem. That's super clean. What I mean, right? You use the Bulkron. Yeah,
you see what I mean? No, but it's like
if you use the Ufukron, you're too squishy because the Riva team is just used to killing that team in like a minute and a half.
Right.
And if the fight lasts like 3 minutes, they are just tankier than you, and your guys are super squishy.
Yeah,
and you can solve.
So I said it's not proper planning. Just going through rushing the fight. So, like I said, I would call it a mistake on my part because I was trying to fly through it, and I had other resources there that I could have used. Where it's like, okay, lesson learned. I'll take the hit on that. The other thing, since we weren't week 1, I fought Schmertz again, and we all know how much fun that is for me.
Schmertz is a tough character.
Yeah, he's at the top for the reason he's a great player, et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to try this, and I was running through teams, and so what I wanted to see to do was just the trio and Savage with a great Savage cron, and it's still not enough. They just did what they do. You need that 5th character to really help offset it, and Daggers called it out before. Again, now I took the 5th. I took Talon in on another team, and it was like lights out. It was like super clean, but I just wanted to test because I already knew I lost. Yeah. And it just, I don't care. It's just, they just delete you. So that was another one that was it was a good lesson to learn because I wanted to see it in action, but I think those are the key ones that really that stand out for me.
Yeah. I'll say So when I've had Slacker fail for me against Lord Vader, it was, well, all right, I was using a set 9, but I was going for the wrong stat. The key to it is health steal. It isn't the crit damage. You take the bulk, that's fine. You ideally have some health on there, some crit damage, whatever. But the true technique, in my experience, has been having health steal on there to survive, because you need to be there. Like, that fight goes down to the last 30 seconds because you're looking for him to top off, and then you go for the big poke and then send him home. So I definitely agree, like, having tested the set 8 and the set 9, like, set 9's definitely the way. I've tried the crit damage, I've tried health, I've tried offense, blah 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 blah. Health steal is the way I say. Dagger, what didn't work for you? Oh, sorry, you had something to say on that?
No, sorry. For which fight? Because I thought we were talking about Trey versus Reva. That didn't sound like we were talking about.
No, I was. I immediately pivoted to something else that was like super conditional on the cron use, like what he was talking about with Reva there. Like between
just take the retribution level 6, you'll be fine. You won't remove it. If you're taking Treya.
Oh, I see.
They'll just counterattack and kill Reva the first time for free.
Oh, you see that, TJ?
It's still, you can't format it, and that was I was in a loss trying. It was no gain or loss for me not to test it. Right, I was like, I already conceded. I already told him you got the win. He cleared the board, so I was like, let me test this to see the fail point. Yep. And it smirched, so his stuff was really good. I wanted to see if there's any world where we could format it, and if it's anybody like that at the top, we have the luxury of testing a real team. Yep. And that was the key thing for me. I'll say, to your point on LV, don't think of this as a plus. If you set Hellsteel on your LV, you're opening up lesser comp SLKs to take you out. So just be aware of that.
That's true.
SLK loves. I actually would have lost a fight where we went in without paying attention to the level 6. I took armor, and that never got used because armor was ability blocked. They never even went after armor. I took the set 9, but because I made a poopy and had no coverage on, I had Daka Zombie, I was removing the turn meter and all that, I would have lost the fight. Thank God for Hellsteel on LV. They went to full health. I literally deleted both characters. No added benefit in one shot because of that Hellsteel. It was great. Would have lost that fight.
Very fair. All right, Dagger, what failed for you this week? What let you down?
I'm always kind of boring when it comes to this, especially since like this last 2 weeks. Like, we didn't do one last week, but for those, but for those who were there at the last 3v3 video we did, I started to see the 380 because I was basically on vacation / super busy last 3v3 season plus it's 3v3, so I'm not trying to pretend like I was like going on my way to play. Regardless, I spent my first 6 rounds like clubbing baby seals, and saving 4 or 5 GLs for offense, or 4 GLs Revo for offense, or whatever, right? So, though I will say this though, Lord Vader continues to be a puzzle that I sometimes just decide to 2-shot with like with Fennec into Geos. Especially, I'm going to tell you how to beat me at this point then, because if you cheese the back wall and I decide to 2-shot your Lord Vader just to see the back wall without using the slacker, just in case you tried to get cute back there with a bunch of extra stuff, I'll probably lose for free.
Yeah.
That and Head Holdo get absolutely blown the fuck out versus Leviathan. That was fun.
You tried Holdo versus Leviathan, and it was a no bueno for you.
I already won the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the guy who didn't clear one zone.
Yeah, so you had the latitude to mess around with
I will say, I'm not going to give it away.
Yeah, we had a conversation. Yeah, we're gonna back pocket this. We're gonna back pocket this.
Okay.
We'll talk about it next week. Yeah,
but we don't give that one away.
This next week.
That one's not. That's a no giver. That's no giver.
Yeah. Can we edit this, Cass? Like,
no. I refuse to learn how to edit video at this point.
No, I'm just gonna say, Dagger and I had a very fruitful conversation
Yeah.
Right, but it was very illuminating
Yeah.
on
Yes.
potential counters for Leviathan and kind of getting it dwindled down to be just the right thing to where it doesn't need to be a proper one. Not gonna say what,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
certain things
And
that can be done.
yeah, the puzzle that is Java is basically solved. It's basically tells and lead SOK is very good. Probably the most consistent GL counter to it, I would say, that we can use. In GAC specifically, I think there's probably like some Embo. Maybe there's something with Embo you can do. But anyways, I
What
the
else
puzzle that is
betrayed
Java
you?
I have solved, thankfully. Um, Embo makes it a little tough on Riva and JMK.
Yes.
But for all those problems, the Telson lead Marin Kron SOKR team is very solid.
I hadn't
All
tried that yet. I mean, man, the division of resources has to be pretty key because there's enough Omicrons here for GAC focused players to have, basically if it's not a GL, it's a team that's got at least one Omicron on it for GAC. So there's serious power sitting on the board while still having, like what you were saying, something on the order of 4 GLs for attack.
Yeah, just allows you to stay Daka Zombie for C.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, because you can preserve it. Again, this all goes back to it works because they kill themselves and then revive themselves because of Marin. Well, SOK does all the killing. But really, it just boils down to like you said, division of resources. But basically, the point I'm trying to make is Java is no longer a problem for me specifically. There'll be times where I JMK and accept the 2-shot based on my strategy on attack. But yeah, Lord Vader continues to be a puzzle insofar as SOK Daka Zombie is very expensive, and a little bit trickier because if you go look at my history, Trench with Watt was on defense the first 2 weeks, so it didn't know Watt to like be my little like nookie blankie for that team, right?
Yes.
So,
Although
with
I
Watt,
will
that would
say,
be just like,
I did take out a Lord Vader today. Slacker, Daka Zombie, Faust Armor. Armor was,
Yep.
not shut. So really, I'll say this: the essence of that fight was my Slacker being faster than Lord Vader. If I had to use swipe first, then that means that Maul might have been able to do that first push on armor, set her cooldowns back, and she would have been completely useless. So I think there's been a long period of time where the modding on Lord Vader can be lesser, but like if you want to have your Lord Vader challenge Slacker. You want to have your Lord Vader decently fast while still being bulky and all that, but like decently fast because forcing Slacker to swipe first instead of stab means that Maul still gets frenzy and bad stuff gets to happen.
Yeah, and I had a conversation recently over the last week with a mutual friend of ours
Yeah.
about how SOK being fast still really matters against Lord Vader, like you were saying, because one of the reasons somebody can look at your roster and be like, why is your SOK like 600 speed? And they're like, he doesn't need all that. It's like, you clearly haven't tried to kill a Lord Vader team.
Lord Vader
Going first
serious.
is such a godsend. Going first just changes the fight so significantly. It's ridiculous.
Yep, absolutely. All right.
I was 3 for 4 with that, and I do like without Watt. 3 for 4 without Watt. The only loss I had, I timed out on because let's just say I threatened somebody with a divorce over it because she called me. But yeah, like yeah. Priorities, man. I can finally have time to play Jack. Don't fuck this up for me, woman.
All right.
But anyway, sorry.
All right, let's try and be brief in the last couple bits because we're already over time here, so we don't want to be too long. Now we'll chalk this up to being a little long because we'll say that this is bundling up some of the lessons learned from week 1. But yeah, so going into next week, what now? Of course, we're everybody's going to save a bit of their recipe here. Secret sauce. That's fine. But any lessons specifically from the last 2 weeks that you haven't already mentioned that you're going to be looking to apply? How are you pivoting from week 2 into 3? Well, go ahead, Dagger.
Well, we touched on this in the last round that we were plotting and scheming for, but pulling trench off defense to use the pieces with GG and or just to have Watt and Newt available for offense, because we had a long conversation about the quality of defenses you can now set, and I think, at least for my plan next week, having the pieces for Trench available, and maybe Trench, the full Trench himself, right? I think having the flexibility is going to be more important for me next week. So that's one of my strategies. I can just say it, right? It's like having Watt available to make a couple counters easier, having Newt available for GG, having B2 available for Afra, right? Like making sure you have all your pieces that you can parse out or piece out all your teams correctly to have all the tools you need to win your fights. Yeah, just that's the biggest change for me. Macro strategy is going to remain roughly the same. Set all your good B teams, a few GLs.
Fair enough. Yeah. So the doctrine is flexibility. Save enough. You're not caught off guard. Very good. TJ, what are we doing here next week? What are you applying? What's changed up? What can you share?
Daggers talked about it. I think one of the key things is a planned or effective 2-shot is worth more in the hand. Whatever that bird bush bullshit is. I really think that coming in with the idea that I'm going to take a planned 2-shot. Daggers talked about it. Tash, you've talked about it. I'm going to go Night Sister into Java, and I'm not going to do that. Affords you the ability to maneuver much more freely that can really cause some pain to your opponent.
Absolutely.
If they always expect you're going to do this and your history shows you're going to go this way, it's like, I'm not going to do it this time. Instead, I'm going to set an extra GL, and this is what I'm going to go with. Take a little gamble. It's things like that right now where I'm leaning towards is taking these planned 2-shots, but if I can really stump something where it's like, oh, I really did not expect that from him, even scout me or not, I think that is, I am all about the tricky, and lifting the skirt and showing the tada is 100% my style and what I love to do.
Oh yeah. So I'm sorry. Did you have anything else?
Well, if I may piggyback on that ever so slightly.
Oh sure, go ahead.
To what Tass said earlier about after being feeling okay versus Jabba, and us talking about like the two-piecing a Jabba or a Lord Vader. Imagine a world where you can Afra plus cleanup if needed, like Fennec plus Geos the Lord Vader, and you can Star Killer the Rey. How many GLs do you realistically have to save for offense at that point?
You can get heinous with it.
Yeah.
And Boltcron favors the GLs, man.
And that's why I say it. And if you've never said it and you are willing to make that one small pivot to where you feel controlled in the fight and you can do that and come back, I guarantee you're going to do more harm to them than you are to yourself. Take your 45 or whatever the point is and watch that 4-shot come in and you're just going to be a happy camper.
Week 3 is going to favor the bold.
Yeah.
And the bulky.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. That's good lessons.
What about yours, Tass?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, I've been kind of following that same flexibility doctrine most of the season. Like, I would say that I've moved a couple things around. I've set a couple surprise traps, but otherwise, I've kept it. I would say one or two like superpower teams lighter than I otherwise normally would, and the results are here. Like I'm not outwitting myself by setting too much and leaving myself bereft of 1 to 2 options that I clearly have needed. I think that moving away from that is dangerous for me, but it also might be worth the risk because I have 2 weeks of history showing me trying to be a bit more conservative. So there can be punishes for that. There's 2 ways for me to go about it, and I don't really want to go into detail for obvious reasons. But like the point is it's like I've been following that flexibility, and I have incentives to mix that up. Sorry, you had something you were going to say though?
No.
Okay, no. I thought I heard you piping up.
I just went,
Oh, okay, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, I was giving you an affirmative.
I got
It's very rare we agree.
No, yeah. So, yeah, I'd say that's about it for me. To wrap this one up, yeah, it's been a completely wild season. So yeah, we've wrapped up the 3 season at top 10 rank. We're currently just holding on here at number 4. It's going to be very difficult for me to climb to the very tip top because of the gap in the accrued victories between me and the 3 folks above me. So it will be a sweat. I would have to continuously keep on winning, and it would have to keep that up for some time yet to even have a chance to think about scraping that top level. So it's just all sweat all the time, and it's what I'm here for. I'm delighted to be here. I mean, I'm probably just going to get completely flat ass laid out last week, but I'm going to learn stuff from it. And, set 9's still going to be around for the next 5s. So I'm down. TJ, last thoughts, anything, any final comments from you?
Yeah, make your peace with your set 8, boys and girls.
Yes.
That goes away. So
yes, I was going to say earlier about you, Dagger, the trench, man. Trench for offense. This is the heyday.
Right. Your Geos, your improved Separatists, your Mary Jade. So, okay, everybody's on this money thing that Starkiller's so money. That Kron is amazing. Don't think they're still this almighty team. They're going to be good because it's going to have the bulk and stuff like that, but that Kron destroys everything and it punches way up. That goes away. That actually does have an impact. So that's that. I just want to say, make your peace. That's going to be gone.
Here. All right, Dagger.
First off, DJ, I hate you and we're no longer friends for you saying that. And I guess what I'll say is, for those of you, I'll let Task plug it after this. Mm-hmm. But for those of you who use it, Omegabot yourself. Going into week 3, Omegabot yourself. Just check on your own tendencies. Shake it up.
Yep. It's always reasonable. Like, Omegabot is my favorite scouting tool. Just about every stream I cover, my opponent, I scout him through a variety of means, but none helps me get a more comprehensive view in a short amount of time as Omegabot. That report is priceless. Yes, on your opponent, on yourself. Know thyself, know thy enemy. It's good stuff. All right, well, thank you both so much for making the time here on a Monday night to be with me. Good comprehensive episode. We're just over 40 minutes here, so it's a pretty good runtime. It's something for somebody to podcast over a good lunch hour. But thank you both so much for being here, and for all you Patreons, you'll see this here first thing in the morning. For all our other fine viewers on YouTube, that will pop up later in the week here, about midweek. So until next time, until the next stream, it's been real, it's been awesome, it's been real awesome. Take care.
And we went that whole stream without